There is a urban legend that takes place in East Tennessee that happened around the 1920s. Have you heard the legend of Skin Tom? No, old Tom back in the day was known to be a looker. All the women loved him. The kids today would call him the Rizmeister 3000 because he was full of swag and charisma. I still don't know what all that means. But anywho, he loved him some women, and the women sure loved him back because in town he would grab one woman, flirt her up real good, get what he wanted, and then he'd kick her to the side and on to the next until he pretty much got with every woman in the whole entire town. Just a side note, if it was in a small town, it probably didn't take too long because he's probably related to the other half of them, and that's frowned upon. So he'd unpacked his bags and moved on to the next town to find him another woman. Well, there she was, his next woman that he was going to get with. Beautiful, tall, voluptuous, blonde. And he's like, that's the one. That's the one. So he started talking to her all sweetly. And then he found out she was married. But that wasn't no thing to Tom. Tom didn't care. He was going to get it where he wanted it. So Tom just threw all that caution out the door and was like, all right, girl, let me get them digits. And they slowly started talking. And eventually, they started sneaking around. They would go out to the Lover's Lane, not too far away from the town, to have a little rendezvous out where nobody really goes and it's dark at night. And after a while, they got pretty careless where they were just kind of just showing up together in places they shouldn't have been. Well, word got around like it does in small towns. People started talking about Tom getting with that married woman and them just not giving a damn about nothing. But word soon fell upon her husband's ears. And when it did, he was livid. But he decided he wasn't going to confront her. Oh, no. He was going to catch her in the act. So he came up with a plan. And he told her one day, hey, baby, I got to go out of town on a business trip. Now, I won't be back this weekend, but I'll be back Sunday night, Monday morning. Everything's going to be okay, and I'll see you when I see you. Love you. Bye. So, instead of going on that business trip, he hid himself in the woods above their house, and he started watching. And, hell, he didn't have to wait too long, because there came Tom, driving right on up, pulled it into that driveway, and that sweet, voluptuous blonde thing hopped in the car with him, and they drove off. Well, her husband followed them at a safe distance to where they wouldn't notice. Right on down to Lover's Lane. He waited a little bit, saw some motion going on in the car. And the husband walked up to the door and he flung that door open and he said, what are you doing? And they were scared to death. They sat there in awe. Nobody wanted to move, but he snatched old Tom straight out of that car. And he had one thing with him. He had and he took that honey out and took Tom up by his collar and he started carving Tom's skin right off his body. Well, the woman was so scared that she just got up and ran into the woods to try to save her own life and left Tom there being skinned. I reckon after the husband done carved up Tom like a Thanksgiving turkey, with his skin laying on one area and the blood everywhere, he left Tom's body right there, figuring that he'd pass away before too long, and he went straight down to the police department to turn himself in. But when he got down to the police department confessing his sins, oof, the emergency people jumped up and they hauled butt down to Lover's Lane to see if they could try to save Tom's life. But when they got there, all they found was a bloody mess in Tom's skin. No Tom or his body to be found. To this very day, it said if you go down there somewhere in East Tennessee and you're having a rendezvous with somebody you ain't supposed to be, having a little cheating time on your fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, yada yada, and so on, that you can look up in your window and there could be Tom standing there. Now, there are a ton of different Skin Tom stories and even poems about him, because I don't think he's just in East Tennessee. I think he's been around the block still after death. Yeah. If you like the story, you know what to do. If you got your own version of Skin Tom, let me know in the comment section. And y'all, don't forget to follow me for more paranormal stories.